Tesla is hitting a new record high, surging 9% today for its best day since March and closing in on $1,000 a share. Here's the headline. That makes it $1 trillion market cap.
As a child, you would wait.
The whole point of Tesla is to accelerate the advent of electric vehicles.
You always knew that you'd be the one that worked while they all play.
In our view, the company is likely to go bankrupt.
How much did you put into this company?
About $55 million.
$55 million of your own money.
Yeah.
Just a dream.
Tesla's doomed and it's going to fail, and I will guarantee that.
When critics say you can't do this, your answer to them is,
We've done it.
The electric automaker now valued at more than $1 trillion.
Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. Hope you all had a wonderful weekend. And a quick shout out to my newest patrons, Grant, Tyler, Arnaud, and Michael. Greatly appreciate your support. So first up today will be a pretty funny comment from Elon on this JP Morgan lawsuit situation. So Elon said, if JP Morgan doesn't withdraw the lawsuit, I will give them a 1-star review on Yelp. This is my final warning. So in case you missed it, JP Morgan is looking for roughly $160 million from Tesla over some disagreements on some warrants, but we covered it last week, so go check that out if you're interested. So the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Boris Johnson, has some excellent news for us EV fans. New homes and buildings like supermarkets and workplaces, as well as those undergoing major renovations, will be required to install EV charge points starting next year. Up to 145,000 extra charge points will be installed across England each year thanks to these regulations. This will mean people can buy new properties already ready for an electric vehicle future. So this right here is awesome news. Now, I really hope this comes to the United States eventually, as we've already talked about how new home builds adding solar and specifically Tesla glass is really the best way to implement these new technologies. It is better and more efficient than retrofitting existing homes. Not that you shouldn't do that or people won't do that, just that it's really ideal to start fresh with all of these new builds, and implementing laws and regulation like this is a great way to ensure that it happens. So here we have an interesting decision by GM. They are now getting into electric boats. So GM on Monday announced it purchased a 25% stake in Pure Watercraft, a Seattle-based company that specializes in creating all-electric boating solutions. GM's VP of Global Electrification, Dan Nicholson, said GM's stake in Pure Watercraft represents another exciting opportunity to extend our zero emissions goal beyond automotive applications. So there were no details given, no amounts or anything like that. Now, of course, I think it makes sense for GM to focus on EVs and getting, 1, 2, or 3 high quality EVs to market as soon as possible before broadening its reach in the EV space. However, who's to say that this isn't actually a good investment move by GM? It could turn out to be very fruitful over the next 5 to 10 years. I'm not trying to say that it's not. It just seems like GM is a little lost at the moment. And I say that because Tesla's acquisitions have always had strategic synergies. They made sense. They were acquiring smaller companies that had great technology that was going to play into Tesla's overall goal and mission and the projects they were working on. Whereas this move from GM just feels like they're acting like a hedge fund trying to bet on a winner in the EV boat space without actually having any real plans to do anything there themselves. Now, with that said, here is Pure Watercraft's website. They look like a pretty cool company with, yes, working technology, and so I'll link this below if you want to check them out a little further. So we've talked before about how Tesla is developing these programs for students to go through to basically fast track them to working at Tesla, and over the weekend they held an event. There was a ribbon cutting ceremony to celebrate the new Tesla Start manufacturing training facilities on the Riverside School campus. This is for Austin Community College residents. So Tesla is currently teaching about 60 students, and each course of study lasts 14 weeks and will prepare students for potential jobs at Tesla. The costs for this program, including the specialized training equipment, were covered entirely by Tesla and through state grant dollars awarded to ACC and Tesla from the Texas Workforce Commission. These grant dollars also have supported the cost of tuition for many of the Tesla students to date. Students are paid Tesla employees while they complete the program, and after graduation, they are eligible for full-time positions. A quick note here, Biden has opted to keep Jerome Powell as the Fed chair, and Lael Brainard is tapped for the vice chair of the Fed Reserve. If Lael is confirmed as the vice chair, she would be the third woman in the Fed's 108-year history to serve in the role after Janet Yellen and Alice Rivlin. Her term would begin February 2022. So based on all of the information we have, Powell and Brainard are basically on the same page when it comes to monetary policy and how they want to handle inflation and trying to achieve full employment. We should not expect any abrupt changes. And ordinarily, the vice chair doesn't really have official power. However, she will of course hold an influential role in meetings and bringing up ideas, and she actually has a pretty strong track record. And one thing Ms. Brainard has been outspoken on is the need for the Fed to take a more active role in climate-related issues to ensure that the financial system is prepared for potential fallout from climate change. Over the weekend, Sawyer shared Tesla increased their hiring efforts even further for the 4680 pilot line at Cato Road. I've been told Tesla's looking to hire almost double what they were just in September. This would be a tripling of the headcount since August. This is of course bullish for 4680 production and how it is going. On that same line, Tesla submitted 5 filings with the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation. Tesla seems to be seeking approval for start of production. Here are the filings. Total cost over $1 billion. So it's unclear how long these approvals might take, but Tesla has said that they expect to finish the phase 1 of construction at Giga Austin by the end of this year. So with only 5 weeks left in the year, it looks like, of course, we're not going to see any meaningful production out of Giga Austin, but hopefully early 2022, that story changes. Shout out to Hollywood SX on Reddit, who shared his experience actually testing the Starlink internet at the Tesla supercharger station, this one in Lake City, Florida. He shared some images. As you can see, the car did automatically connect to Tesla service internet without actually plugging in. Here was a screenshot of the Starlink speed, so 32 ping, 24 megabits per second download, which is okay, good enough for most people, I would imagine, but the upload speed was 30, which is awesome and better than I get at home. And for context, is this an actual improvement? Well, this one anecdote would be a resounding yes. This is the LTE connection data about 50 yards from the charger. Ping was 48, remember lower numbers are better. Download speed 1 megabit per second and upload speed of nearly 6. And he said that Starlink speed test was with 2 to 3 other cars connected. And he did a second test with no other obvious activity on the connection, and that resulted in 50 megabits per second down and 24.5 up. But that automatic connection before even plugging in is a pretty cool feature. So this post was trending on the Tesla Motors Reddit forum today, talking about how finally we'll see which stalls are out of order, noting this sign right here telling you how many stalls are actually available. However, at least in some geographies, this feature has been around for a long time. This tweet is from March of 2020, and you can see this feature showing 16 of 24 stalls available, 2 stalls out of order. So yes, perhaps this feature is, as mentioned, being rolled out to more locations, but This feature in and of itself has been around for over a year. Here we have Inside EVs. They compiled a great article with regard to the charging curve for the 2021 Model S Plaid. Kyle from Out of Spec Motoring did one, Tom Malogny did one, and Motor Trend did one, but as you can see, they were all very, very similar. So starting from 0 and roughly 6% state of charge, it took a little bit to scale up to the peak rates of around 249 to 250 kilowatts, where it stayed at that level from roughly 10% state of charge all the way to, we'll say, 35%. And then right after that, we see the steady decrease down to about 100 kilowatts around 70% state of charge. But there is plenty more information in this article, so if it interests you, I have linked it for you below. So over the weekend, FSD Beta 10.5 was released. Here are the release notes. Rather than me read them to you, go ahead and pause if you'd like to check it out. Now, if you remember that Missy Cummings petition that the Tesla community voted on, we got over 30,000 votes at one point. Well, it seems as though Missy Cummings hired some lawyers to reach out to change.org to remove the petition. Change actually contacted Holmar's blog, who initiated the petition, saying, "We are writing to let you know that we received substantiation ordering to remove your petition on the grounds that its content is defamatory of Ms. Cummings. As such, we have removed your petition." The good news is we know that everybody is aware of this situation. Pete Buttigieg actually made some comments about this very topic and said that Elon could reach out to him if he had concerns about it. So I really don't think anything is going to change. I think she's going to get the job and move on. But at the very least, she and many others have been warned. A quick note here on that CNN test of the FSD Beta that we talked about last week. So this is the actual owner of that Model 3 vehicle, and he's basically saying he wishes that CNN would have covered it a little bit differently. Now, I personally thought the review was very fair and pretty unbiased, especially from CNN. But if you're interested in what the owner had to say, and he actually shares some video footage of him sitting in the back seat and covering some clips that he wished would have been included, I've linked it below if you'd like to check it out. On Friday, apparently some owners were unable to start their cars after there was an outage with the software app. So if you use your phone to get into your car, some people were indeed locked out. Elon actually responded promptly saying checking, and it should be coming back online now. Looks like we may have accidentally increased the verbosity of network traffic. Apologies. We will take measures to ensure this doesn't happen again. But could be a good reminder to have your key card with you just in case the technology doesn't work like it's supposed to. One of the bigger news items of the day, Elon randomly tweeted the Model S Plaid is sick with some exclamation marks, and then he was asked when is it coming to China, and he said probably around March. So in case you're new to following Tesla, this does not mean that Tesla is going to start building Model S Plaids in China. It just means they are going to start shipping them and exporting them from Fremont around the globe to the Chinese market. Over the weekend, we got another Form 4 from Tesla, but this one's not for Elon. This one was for Zachary Kirkhorn. So he disposed of 1,250 shares at a price of $1,063 per share. Now, I wanted to share this because I can imagine there being headlines where it says all of Tesla insiders are selling the stock and trying to get you to think you should too. But this was pursuant to Rule 10b-5-1, which we've talked about multiple times before. This plan was set in place to sell these shares back on May 19th of 2020. So no, this should not be interpreted as any type of signal. Also, over the weekend, there were some reports like this. Musk reportedly asked Tesla managers who don't execute orders to resign immediately. I personally hate these updates, all in caps with minimal info. They never share the actual article. It's literally just the headline crap that is ruining media as we know it. Anyway, Sawyer luckily stepped in and tried to add some nuance to the conversation as we need to. Here is the email from Elon. If an email is sent from me with explicit directions, there are only 3 actions allowed by managers. 1, email me back to explain why what I said was incorrect. Sometimes I'm just plain wrong. Love the humility. 2, request further clarification if what I said was ambiguous, basically if they don't understand what he said. And 3, execute the directions. If none of the above are done, that manager will be asked to resign immediately. Thank you, Elon. Really nothing groundbreaking here, but in case you were wondering what was going on, there you have it. Here we had an article titled Tesla Giga Shanghai is practically overflowing with Model 3 and Model Y. So I would imagine the bears come in and take this and get back to their no demand. Tesla has all these cars nobody is buying. The truth is, Tesla has now shifted into their second half of the fourth quarter, where they ordinarily produce cars for local delivery, but because we're still near that middle of the quarter mark, a lot of these cars may still be actually shipped to the European market. The point here is that I can promise you all of these cars are going to be delivered. It's just a matter of when. Once again, bullish for quarter 4. Alex shared a new wind energy park at Giga Berlin is now online. One of the reasons Tesla chose the location is the availability of sustainable energy, not to be overlooked. It's been reported that Giga Berlin is still on track for a December opening. The last round of discussions related to objections by locals to the Gigafactory near Berlin ended on Monday, and now the only thing the US carmaker still needs is a final operating permit from regional authorities. So at this point, we could be days and maybe weeks away from the initial actual production at Giga Berlin. Very exciting times. We have Dodge making some big announcements where they're going to have one new full EV, they're going to have a plug-in hybrid, and they're going to stop producing some of their best known vehicles. They said early in 2022, we will see the first Dodge electric muscle car concept, followed by a plug-in hybrid and a third significant new vehicle. But Dodge will stop production of its current pair of high-octane muscle cars, the Challenger Coupe and the Charger Sedan, in 2 years and will replace them with new cars on new platforms. And the Dodge CEO Tim Kuniskis is in quite the predicament, and listen to this. So the Dodge fan base is split between those who will embrace electrification and then those who vehemently oppose the idea and have sent Kuniskis death threats. And he said, I'm juggling knives because I've got to keep two different huge factions happy because at some point those two factions will converge. It's just he doesn't know when. All of this to say, I am indeed very excited to see their first full electric vehicle. I think it could be a really cool car if done well, and hopefully we see it sometime in the first quarter of next year. And the last thing for today, in case you missed it over the weekend, so Ford has officially shut down their plans to build in collaboration with Rivian. I think most of us expected this was going to happen. It wasn't really something that would ever come to fruition, as Rivian and Ford are going to be going their own direction. However, Ford still does own a 12% stake in Rivian, and they will remain an investor and an ally in creating EVs for the future. That is all for today. Please take a second to like the video if you did. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.